So today I'm going to be talking about power adders, specifically nitrous, because we just finished the nitrous install on my 2002 Chevy Silverado. Most people know about nitrous because of the Fast and Furious movies. It is true, it does make your car much faster, but I'm going to explain how and why it does that. And the reason why nitrous works is similar to why when you fan a campfire, the flame gets bigger, because nitrous is actually nitrous oxide, and it has extra oxygen, more oxygen than regular air that we breathe and that the vehicle breathes. It has more. Because you have more oxygen available, your engine can use more fuel while still maintaining the correct air-fuel ratio for combustion. And this, in turn, creates more horsepower. So I'm going to show you some of the parts that go into a nitrous system and just talk about them briefly. And I'll also show you my setup on my truck so that you can see how it all works together to make it a seriously fast truck. So you have a nitrous bottle, and you have lines, braided lines that come from the nitrous bottle and run up to the actual system that's in the engine bay. And those braided lines actually look similar to this. This is a small diameter braided line. They have 4AN, 6AN, 8AN, and those are all different size diameter lines. This is one of the smallest ones. This is a 4AN, and this is usually used as you're closer or farther away from the bottle and closer to the actual action going on. This line would go from the nitrous to either the solenoid, or from the solenoid to the nozzle. And the nozzle looks like this. And this, as you can see, it has a fuel port and a nitrous port. And then here is where those two things come out together. So you also need little things called jets. And those jets look like this, and they come in all different sizes depending on if they're for fuel or for nitrous. And usually the bigger the size jet is, the bigger shot of nitrous and bigger horsepower gain you're gonna have. So those little jets actually fit into the nozzle like that. And then this nozzle would get attached to the feeder lines that are coming from either the fuel or the nitrous. We have our lines set up so that the red is fuel and the blue is nitrous. I think that they're interchangeable, but that's just how we've done it. So these two lines would be coming from the fuel or the nitrous solenoid, and then this is actually put into our intake. And I'll show you where it's at when I show you our setup. So there's other ways that you can get the nitrous and fuel mixture into your engine, and one of them is by using a plate. This is a plate, and you can see it has a nitrous port and a fuel port, and you would hook these lines directly up to these and avoid the use of the nozzle altogether. One of the benefits is that it can have a different spray pattern, and it can enter the where the throttle body is, so it's more of a direct entrance into the engine, whereas this has to go through the intake hose from the air intake. So we didn't use this on mine because it didn't fit my throttle body. We decided to just go with this, and we drilled a hole into the air intake. The vehicle needs to be tuned when you add nitrous. It gets a little bit complicated. I'm going to tell you a little bit about timing, and I'll show you. I'm going to actually tune the vehicle using HPTuners to retard the timing. To explain timing is an entire separate video. I'll read you something that I found on nitroustech.com that explains timing. Ignition timing is the process of setting the angle relative to piston position and crankshaft angular velocity that a spark will occur in the combustion chamber near the end of the compression stroke. That's its own video. So let's just suffice to say that the timing needs to be adjusted. So I'm going to open up HPTuners and show you guys how I go into the different tables and adjust the timing, and then I'll actually go and flash it to the truck so that the truck now, the computer in the truck will read the information that I want it to, and it will adjust the timing accordingly now that we're going to be running nitrous. So here is the HPTuners software opened up with the 2002 Chevy Silverado tune that it's currently running. And first thing that I need to do is go to engine. Once I get to engine, I want to go to the spark table. And then I want to go down to the high octane table. The high octane table has two sections. One is the RPM and the other one is the cylinder air mass. So in order to retard the timing, I want to choose an area that is most likely to have the nitrous shot. You typically don't shoot nitrous below 3,000 RPMs, and that's for various reasons, but mainly it can be very detrimental to the mechanical parts in the motor if you shoot it too soon. So we're going to go to 3,200, and then we're going to go, this is the air mass is pretty much where your throttle is. So if you're going to be stomping on it, which likely I will be, probably about 0.48 or 0.52 would be where I would be shooting the nitrous. So I'll go over and find that cell at 3,200 and 4,800, where those two come together, was right here. So I'm going to select that entire section. This blue section is going to be where I'm going to be shooting nitrous. So that's where I'm going to want to retard my timing. So what I do is I go in and I'm going to want to retard it. For every 50 horsepower that you add, you want to retard it by 2 degrees. So since it's 150 shot, I'm going to want to retard it by 6 degrees. If it's 125, I would retard it by 5 degrees. So what I do is I put a negative. For a 150 shot, it would be 6. So I would do -6, and then I would press the add button, because then it will actually take away 6 degrees of timing from those cells. And I'll do the same thing on the low octane table. Then I'll save it and I will flash it to the truck. So now I'm going to take you guys out and show you the actual setup in the truck, and I'll walk you through all of the various elements that go into it, and I'll show you what we've done. So that's my nitrous bottle. I know you can't see it because it's cleverly hidden underneath of a black cloth, because that's the way I like it. But first of all, this is the bottle, and it's strapped in and onto a bottle heater, and that's the box that the bottle heater came in. The mounting bracket for it is actually a heater, because nitrous, anybody that has ever used whipped cream in a real whipped cream container understands that you need the whipped cream to be propelled out, and nitrous is propelled out under heat. Heat causes pressure to build in the bottle, and so that right there is the pressure gauge that tells us how much pressure we have built up in the bottle. And typically you want it to be in the green, which is around 900, between 900 and 1000. And that right there you can see is the braided line that I was talking about. That is a 6AN, I believe. No, that's a 4AN braided line. I think we ran it all with 4AN because we didn't have anything bigger. But you can also see that there's electric lines running to and from it, and those electric lines are because the bottle heater obviously is run off of electric, and so in order for that bottle heater to run, we needed to run electric back here. And that is the switch that was created and mounted and runs the electrical for the bottle heater. And you'll notice that you can't see any of the lines running from the bottle to the front of the vehicle, because we ran it all inside the frame and underneath so that it can't be seen. But there's electric lines that are coming in, and there's also you can see the braided line right there. That line is going to one of the solenoids. There's a nitrous solenoid, which is this one right here, and the fuel solenoid, which is down there, you can see, and it has the red tip and the braided line coming from it. That one is connected to the fuel line that comes in, and then they both come together like I showed you on the earlier portion of the video with the nozzle, and in there are the jets, and you can see that it's directly in the air intake before the throttle body and before the manifold. Now here is where we mounted the switches for the nitrous system. You can see it has an arm switch, a heater switch, an opener switch, and a purge switch. Now we're only actually using the arm and the purge switch because, as you saw earlier, the bottle heater switch is right next to the bottle, and I actually don't have a purge in this, so the purge button is actually the button that I push to shoot the nitrous. So I have to arm the system by turning it on, and then when the vehicle has reached the correct RPM, I then can push the nitrous button until I get to as high as 6,000 RPM, and then I have to let off for it to shift so that it doesn't ever blow the nitrous in while the RPMs are lower than 3,000. So here we are in the vehicle, and I have connected the computer to the vehicle, and I'm getting ready to write the tune with the retarded timing. So as you guys can see, the nitrous is seriously fun. It adds a lot of power when you want it, and it's actually not that expensive or complicated to install. And I just want to say thank you to my two biggest fans, Anna and Ella in North Kakalaki, who always like and watch and have subscribed to my videos. Coming up soon will be a video on E85 fuel and another one on changing oil.